Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to draft a corset pattern in a beginner's method, meaning that this tutorial is beginners friendly. If you're drafting corset pattern for the first time, this method is definitely for you. If this looks like something you're interested in, kindly watch to the very end. Do not forget to like this video, share and subscribe to the channel. So for this project, you're going to need these tools. Here I have my ruler. You can get this kind of ruler or any type of straight ruler. You're definitely going to need your tape, your marker pen or your biro, your pencil, and then a compass. A compass is totally optional. This is just to make some part of the, this is going to be needed for a specific part of the pattern. It is optional. Okay, then you're also going to get a curve ruler, any which one that you have. Any of the two that you have is definitely going to work. Okay, so even if you have this type of curve ruler that comes with a set square, you can always make use of it. Then you're going to need your pattern paper and then your workspace. Okay, so the first thing we are going, then you're also going to need your basic bodice measurements. Make sure that the measurement is accurate. So the first thing I'm going to do is to draw. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is to draw a starting line, and that line is going to serve as a shoulder line. Mind you, I want to start with the front bodice. Okay, we're going to draft the front pattern first because we're going to be making use of, because we're going to use the front to draft the back. Then you label this line shoulder line, please. So please make sure that you are used to labeling of your pattern. Okay, so from this line now we are going to take all our vertical measurements, which includes our bust point, under bust, waistline, chest line, like that. Okay, so this pattern is going to be getting to our half length, meaning that we can always attach it to a skirt, to make a dress, to a trouser. You can wear it alone, you can make it into a crop top and wear it on a jean and so on like that. So the first thing I'm going to take is the shoulder to bust point. So mine is 10 inches. Then from there, I'm going to measure to my under bust point, 13 inches. Then I'm also going to measure to the waistline, 15 inches. Then after the waistline, you can decide to add half an inch or 1 inch seam allowance. So for this one, I'm going to use 1 inch. Okay. So then I'm going to measure and mark this measurement forward, and I'm going to connect with a straight line. Come to the shoulder and divide your shoulder measurements into two. You divide into 2 equal half. So here I have 7 inches because mine is 14 inches. Yours can be less or more. Then you're going to measure 1 inch from that point straight down to form your shoulder slope. Then you're going to connect back to the shoulder line, just like you see me doing. So this is our shoulder slope. Remember, our shoulder is not straight. So from this, on this same line, you're going to measure 3 inches by 3 inches for the neck width and depth. You can also make use of 4 inches depending on the person's measurement. So from this center front, I'm going to measure 3 inches forward, 3 inches down. Then I'm going to connect with a curve to make a round neckline. If you want any other type of neckline, you can simply construct any neckline of your choice. If you have this other curve, you can also make use of it. As you can see, just place it carefully. So from this shoulder slope, you're going to measure down to the chest line. So you can either come up by 2 inches from your bust point, or you take your armhole measurements. You can also calculate it by dividing your bust into 6, then you add 1.5 to whatever you get. Or on this chest line, you go up by 2 inches. So if you take all of these calculations, you have little or no difference. Okay, so I'm just going to make use of what I have on the shoulder, 7 inches. I'm going to measure from this point straight down. Okay, and wherever I stop, I'm going to mark. Then from there, I'll measure back to the shoulder line. Altogether, I have 8 inches. Remember, I have 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then I'm going to measure the 8 inches forward just to construct a straight line. Just try and explore different methods and see which one works for you. And I'm going to connect with a straight line. Next thing I want to do is to create the armhole line and the shoulder and the armhole curve. So whatever you have on the shoulder, you measure on the chest line, 7 inches. Then you're going to connect with a straight line. The next thing you want to do is to find the midpoint of this line. So you find the midpoint and mark like so. We're trying to create the armhole curve step by step. From that point, you come in by 0.5. Okay, 0.5 inch. This line here, you measure inward Then you're going to connect back to the tip of the shoulder slope with a straight line. It's going to look slant, but you use your straight ruler, as you can see. Then you come to the chest line and divide your bust into 4. Whatever you have. If you do not have a calculator and you're working with an odd number, you can simply fold your tape like this. You fold once. So this is half of your measurements. This is half of my measurements. Then I'm going to fold once again to get quarter of my measurement. Okay, so altogether I have 8.25. So I'm going to measure 8.25 on this chest line. So because I like to add ease allowance, I'm going to add 0.25, so that will make it 8.5. Okay, so it is optional, but it's just preferable you had that ease around that part. Then from that point, I'm going to connect back to this midpoint with a curve. Okay, so this make it easier for you and it helps you stay in line. You don't have a deep armhole or maybe a shallow armhole. If you have this other curve, you can still make use of it. Okay, so I'm just trying to show us that we can make use of anything that we have. You can also use your free hand if you are good with it. Some people even make use of a broom. I don't know. Yeah, so the next thing we want to do is to mark our nipple to nipple measurement. So you are going to measure and mark that from your bust point down to the waistline. Okay, but before that, I'm going to make these lines visible. I'm going to label them so that we can see clearly and we could know what line we are working with. Now, to take the nipple to nipple measurement, you come to the bust points. You can also start from the chest line. You take half of your bust span. You measure on the bust point, on the underbust line, and on the waistline. Then you connect with a straight line. So you can extend the line upward to the chest area. Extend it upward like about 1 inch. Okay. So now the next thing we want to do now is to create a circle. This circle is going to be a guideline for us on where and how to plot our cup. Okay, because we need to make sure that we stay within that bust area. So here is where we need the compass. It is optional. Okay, this is just to save time. Actually, if you do not have it, you're good to go. Okay, I'm just going to show us how to make use of it, and I'm also going to show us the manual way of doing it. From the bust point to the underbust, whatever you have there, measure round. Whatever you have, you take it round to form a circle. This bust point, this point here, I'm going to measure my 3 inches round to form a circle. Just take your time and do this. As you can see, just like the way I'm doing it, you keep measuring it round like that. So you start from one point, then you end it on that same point. And that's it. So you're just going to use your pencil to trace it round to make it visible. So if you want to make use of a compass, you're going to place the compass from the bust point to the underbust like so. And you're going to make use of it to draw a curve, just like the way we used to do in our mathematics class. If you do not run away from class, okay? Or you just place it on your tape rule this way, 3 inches, okay? Then you place it exactly on the bust points, okay? You place the sharp points, not the part you have pencil, that's other parts. You place it on it and you draw out your circle, okay? You need to be careful with this, especially if your compass is not staying very well like my own. So this is just to make it easier. Instead of you using your tape to draw lines, you just use your compass directly. You see that it is still on the same line. All right, that is just the idea of the compass. So after this, you're going to make the line visible. You can do it directly with your marker pen, but I'm going to use a pencil, okay? Because I'm still going to use my marker pen to draw out our cup. Okay, so this circle here, since it's just going to be a guideline, we can decide to clean it off later, after which you have constructed the cup. And as you can see, we're done with that. So the next thing we want to do is the underbust tightening. All right, and we're also going to do the overbust tightening. So overbust tightening is going to be done on the underbust line. So here the measurement varies. You can use 1 inch, you can use 0.75, 1.5, depending on the person's measurement. But 1 inch is almost like general measurement, but for me, my bust is not that much, so I'm going to be using 0.75. You measure a mark on both sides of the center line, on the waistline and the underbust line. Then you connect with a straight line like so. I just hope you can see. So from this point now, you're going to come down by half an inch. Okay, you measure half an inch downward. Then from that point, you're going to connect to the underbust with a curve like so. Okay, so the essence of coming down by half inch is to avoid sharp points, to make it easier for us to connect our cup. Then you're also going to come to this chest area. Whatever you took on the underbust, you're going to take it on the chest area as well. Remember, I use 0.75, so whatever you use, you remember that measurement and use it. From this bust point, you go up by half an inch again. Then you're going to connect back to the chest area with a curve like so. It shouldn't be too curvy. It shouldn't be that curvy like that of the underbust. Just look at the way I'm placing the curve. That you have done the overbust tightening. The next thing now is to create our cup, but before that we need to work on this chest line area. This is where you're going to determine the spacing between the two cups. Okay, so the moderate measurement you can use is 0.5. 0.5 is very okay. All right, so you measure and mark like so. Then you're also going to determine on how deep you want it to be. You can maintain the chest line, and you can also decide to come down by half an inch from that point. So I'm going to mark half an inch like so, as you can see. Then I'm going to connect with a straight line to form something like a square. Just be like a guideline for me. It is not a must. As far as you have your points marked out, it's okay. So after this, now I'm going to connect the first side of the cup. Okay, then from this point I'm going to connect back to this half an inch here using my curve ruler. So you can use any curve of your choice. You can use this, you can also use this. Okay, so you just place it this way and connect it to that half inch. Then from that point we are going to connect back to the underbust. All right, you connect back to the underbust. So you place your curve carefully, then you're going to draw the line. So that is the first cup, and that's the center front line. Okay, so I'm still going to use a marker to make this visible. Then you're going to label it so you're going to understand. So for the other side of the cup now, we are not going to do it like the first one. We are going to be extending it a bit by the side around the bust point area, because our bust is a bit fuller on this side. Okay, so to extend it, depending on the person's bust, 0.5 to 1 inch. Okay, it ranges like that. So but for me, I have a smaller bust. I'm going to measure 0.5 on the bust point line like so. Then from this bust point here, that is where we are going to connect our cup to the chest and back to the underbust. All right, so there's something else around here. If you want to have a yoke, or there's another method in which you're going to go down by half an inch to create a new chest line. This is optional actually. So you go down by half an inch and connect like so. All right, then from there you're going to connect to whatever you want to connect to, the underbust and so on like that. But this one is totally optional. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to connect from the underbust to the half an inch here, do not forget, then back to the chest line. Okay, so on the chest line you can simply find the midpoint, or you just measure half inch from the armhole line inward a little bit. Okay, this is just to guide you on where to stop your cup. All right, so you're going to connect like so, and you connect back like so. So having done that, the next thing you want to do is to connect from the chest back to the armhole area. So I'm going to connect from here back to this point, just to give the complete curve on this side. Okay, so if you want to maintain this half inch, that is where your connection is going to stop. It's not going to get to the chest line. Then you're going to connect from here back to wherever you want to connect it to. But for me, I want to maintain my original chest line. So with this, we have constructed our cup. I'm going to make it visible so we know which line we are working with this blue marker. Okay, it is not a must. If you do not have different color of marker pen, you can definitely maintain your pencil or use your biro just to differentiate between the lines. Okay, that is not a must, and if not, just find a eraser and erase the previous circle we drew. Okay, so if you have this curve, you can also make use of it, as you can see. All right, so now I'm going to draw all the lines so that we'll see exactly what we are going to be needing and what we are going to be cutting out. So after you are done with this, you're going to label cup A and cup B, or you write 1 or 2. Okay, so you can label all the patterns generally. Then you can also use an arrow to indicate the bust point and where it's going to be facing. You write and label it. So here I'm going to label all the pattern: the center front 1, the cup A2, cup B3, and the side 4. Okay, so if you are going to make it of the yoke, you can label it 5. Okay, then the neckline, you're going to make it visible, or you're going to decide on which or what type of neckline you want to use. We're going to be cutting out on all of these blue lines. So the next thing we're going to do is to take the body circumference measurements. So on the chest line, you're going to divide your bust circumference into 4. Then you're going to measure and mark. You measure and mark on the bust point, you measure and mark on the chest line. Okay, so when you measure and mark on the chest line now, so after that now, you come to this midline and measure whatever you have there and replace it. Okay, so after that now, you come to the waistline and divide your waist circumference into 4. you measure whatever you have. Then after which you have measured it like that, then you are going to come to this dart line, that area. You measure whatever you have. I have 1.5. You replace it, because by the time you cut it out, it's going to reduce the measurement. Then after that, you will now add your sewing allowance, or your side seam rather. So I just hope you get what I'm trying to explain. So first, you take your body circumference measurement divided by 4. You replace the darts. Then you add your side seam. Okay, so I'm going to draw out the side seam. I added 1.25. Yours can be less or more, but it shouldn't be less. Yes, the least you can have for side seam is 1 inch. Okay, it's better for you to have excess than shortage. So whatever allowance you had, you write it down. And with this, we are done with the front pattern, and we are just going to be cutting it out. It is ready for us to cut out. So I'm just going to highlight the neckline. It is not a must, because I might not use this yoke. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using this yoke. Okay, so if you want to use it, you can simply just highlight it. Highlight the armhole for feature's sake, actually. So now I'm going to be cutting out the pattern, and I want us to pay attention to the way I'm going to be cutting it. It's really important. Okay, do not forget to like this video, share, so that we can reach as many people as possible who would need this tutorial as well. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what type of tutorial you want me to make next. Let me know your thoughts about this tutorial as well. Thank you. So guys, this is our complete front pattern. Now we are going to draft the back pattern. Okay, you're going to get a fresh pattern paper like so. You draw a margin line just to ensure that you start your vertical and horizontal measurement on a straight line. Then you're going to place the front pattern on it like so. But before that, we'll have to draw out allowance of about 1.5 inches, which is going to serve as the zipper allowance. You can use any measurement of your choice, but for me, I'm going to be working with 1.5 inches because I'm going to be turning into the lining. So by the time I finish turning, I'm going to have 1 inch left for my zipper allowance. Then you connect with the straight line. Then you're going to place a pattern like this. Remember, we already eliminated the dart, so there will be no need for that at the back, except if you want to draw it. So even if you plot the dart at the back, you're still going to cut it off. Okay, you're going to trace this center line. Then you're going to also trace the sides, the upper parts, just to trace out the front, so that we'll have the same measurement, the same length for both the front and the back. Okay, so I'm going to trace it out. Trace out the sewing allowance. You trace out the side seam. You trace out the dart as well. If you want to have a dart on it, or you want to create a style line, you can simply use that dart as a guide. Then from here, you go down by half an inch to create a new neckline. You can go as low as 1 inch, 2 inches, depending on how deep you want the back to be. But for me, I'm going to maintain half an inch, then I'm going to take it back here. So here you can connect anyhow you like. You can connect with a straight line, a curved line. You can form a V shape, any which way ever. So this one, I'm just going to have a bit of slight curve at the back, as you can see. So then I'm going to trace out this dart line like so. So if you want to create a basic dart, you can simply do that. Because we already eliminated dart, so there's no point in drawing the dart at the back again. So guys, I already highlighted all the lines that we're going to be needing, and I'm going to be cutting it out. So this one is simply easy. Before that, I'm going to come to this zip allowance to do my tightening. I'll take half an inch on the waist, and I'm going to connect back to the chest area like so. Remember, our back is not straight. Do not forget that. So I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut and cut. After cutting, this is what you are going to have. Then you're going to fold in the dart if you have the dart on it. And after folding the dart, you must have your accurate measurement, your waist circumference, your zipper allowance, and your sewing allowance. But because we already eliminated, so there's no need for this. You're going to be cutting 2 of these. Then you're also going to indicate that this is the back. So here is the front and here is the back. So here is the complete front. You have your yoke. So this is going to be your yoke. If you want to make use of it, and you can also write nets, or because you're going to be replacing it with your fabric or any other type of material. Okay, and your cup is going to be like this. So the front is complete. If you do not want to make use of the yoke, you're going to have 4 pieces, and you can also tape the other parts together to have a single piece. All right, any which way you prefer is totally fine. Then as for this one, you're going to label it as the back. Don't forget. Okay, then this dart, do not forget, we do not have it again. All right, so that'll be all for the pattern drafting. As you can see, it's simple and straightforward. In the next tutorial, we're going to be using this pattern to create a beautiful top. Okay, so we're just going to be making use of the bodice alone. We are not going to be making use of a yoke, and if you want to add a yoke to yours, you can definitely do that. A stable fabric, your boning, your lining, your interfacing, and your thread, of course, then your sewing machine. So do not forget to like this video. I'm sure you find it interesting and helpful. Like, share this video so that someone else would see it and it will be useful for them. Subscribe to the channel if you're yet to do so, and drop your thoughts in the comment section. Till we meet again in my next one. Bye bye and take care of yourself.